Why is color grading so simple for some people yet so complex for others? Well, in this video, I'm gonna give you 5 tips that I use every time I get confused and don't know what I should do and how I should do it. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the tribe. My name is Giuseppe and I started out as a broke videographer many years ago. Eventually, I became a remote colorist, which is what I am to this day. Before we jump right into the wisdom, just note that the top link in the description takes you to my online Color Kings Academy, where people just like you learn how to become fucking good at color grading. Let's go. The first reason people get stuck when they do color grading is that they give themselves problems that are bigger than what they can handle. When we do color grading, you've got to realize that at the end of the day, we are doing active problem solving because we need to understand how to turn this clip into this thing that this clip is not at the moment. So we need to know, okay, how do I do this and this and this? So it's just step 1, step 2, step 3 until the clip looks like we want it to look. A lot of the times you get stuck because you have this issue. Maybe step 3, you don't know how to go from step 2 to step 4 because step 3 is not clear enough for you. You don't know how to apply it. You don't know how to do something. So step 3 has this issue in it. My first tip for you is break the problem down. Because listen, I can come asking you, hey, can you replicate this look exactly as it is? Can you apply it to your clip? And you might freeze. But if I instead ask you, hey, can we reach for a similar exposure? You might be like, well, actually, yeah, we can. Can we now emulate the contrast? Yes. Can you make this specific, or if you can't emulate the contrast, I might ask you, can we actually make the skin look similar to what they have in terms of luminance? Can the skin, be kind of the same brightness? Well, actually, yes. If I can find a knob that does that, I can actually reach. So you understand that your problem is that you're giving yourself problems that are too broad and too big. And this happens to me as well. These are things that I do when I catch myself, going, what the fuck do I do now? Well, calm down. Let's break it down. So what is the issue? A lot of people have this, like they lack this piece of advice. You need the ability to understand what is not working. Don't lie to yourself. A lot of the times you get stuck and you're like, what is it about what I'm doing that is not working? That's the issue, right? So what you need to do is kind of develop the ability to recognize, okay, so this that I'm applying right here, as soon as I do this in the node, this kind of doesn't work anymore. Like, this is not doing me any favor. After you understand where you're getting stuck, you need to break the problem down until it becomes very easy. So let's say that we have a clip that still looks like this. This is Rec 709. So this, if you're very new to color grading, just know that this is a clip that I haven't done anything to, okay? And your first instinct, as soon as we do the before and after, you might be like, oh, it's easy, Giuseppe. You actually just, you pushed your gain right here. So you added some warmth to the image, it's kind of like changing the white balance if you're very new to color grading. And you increase the brightness. Well, actually, no. Watch what happens if we do what you just described. If we just try to, let's do it properly. If we increase brightness and we apply some of what you just said, this is what we end up with, which is not what I had in my example. So do you see how it can be kind of difficult? Like a look that looks very simple. Do you see how this looks so simple, bro? As soon as you see the before and after, you're like, oh yeah, of course the image looks like this. Of course, yeah, I can reach for this. You feel like it's small, but actually the problem is way bigger than you realize because we have a lot of things to deal with. Even when you want to get a quote unquote simple look like this one, you need to understand that there's a lot of work that goes into it. If you're actually curious about how I color graded this is for a client of mine. I have a video. It's called 2 hours of pro color grading. Go watch it. I have on the channel. It's one of my best performing videos. Go watch it right now. I show you what I do. Listen, I broke the problem down into different steps. I was sat right there. I was like, okay, we need to color grade this. First, what is it that I want the image to look like? Okay, we want it to be warm. Okay, what is it that is keeping the image from looking like I want it to? Well, first things first, fuck this blue coat right here. I don't want it to be this blue. So, okay, we need to go in. We need to reduce the intensity of the blue. Do you see the depth of the advice that I'm giving to you? So clip needs to look like this. Good. I want you to have that kind of problem. Now, how do we make the clip look like that? Well, actually, it's not just pushing 2 buttons and calling it a day. No, it's way deeper than that. And when I usually say this to people, they're always taken back. They're like, whoa, why hasn't nobody taught me this? The reason is that nobody actually does color grading for a living. Coming by an actual colorist that posts YouTube videos is very fucking hard. Not a lot of people know what they're talking about when they talk about color grading, and that's why YouTube tutorials are so misleading. If YouTube tutorials actually worked, if they actually worked, you would be better at color grading than what you have now, right? If you break the problem down into very small actionable steps and you still don't know how to solve it, your problem is technical. What do I mean by that? Well, if you can break it down into very small actionable steps that you can take and you still don't take them or they don't go as planned, it's probably because you are missing one of those tools that you want to learn about. But what is it that you're missing? You do not know how to properly use node trees. And this is way more important than you think. Most people get this wrong, and I promise the people that get this wrong have already left the video, so I can rant as long as I want. People get it wrong. People think that they're missing a fucking secret button over here. Maybe there's something over here that does something that I need. No. If you actually see how I color grade, I use the same tools you use. I use these tools, the ones you see like right over there. Those are the tools that I use. What changes is the order I use them in. Listen to me. The first thing you need to know is that a node tree, a good node tree, needs to serve you, needs to serve the shot. Working with nodes is better than working with layers. I say this because a lot of people come from Premiere, Photoshop, or Lightroom. What is the problem when you work in a layer interface? Well, you can't do things at the same time. I can either have layer 1 and layer 2 or layer 2 and layer 1, but either way, one comes before the other. And this is a big issue because sometimes we are going to want to do two things at the same time and we need to figure out a way to do that. In DaVinci, it's very easy. It's why we have, you know when you see people and they have like the lines that split and you have one on top of the other and you don't understand. So those are parallel nodes. Very, very simply put, you use parallel nodes when you want to do things in what? Parallel order. You want to do things at the same time. Why do we want it? I'll give you a quick example. If we have an image and we want to turn it black and white, at the same time though, I want the color red to pop out of the image. So like black and white look with just the red in it. You've seen it sometimes somewhere. There's some looks like that circulating around. How do we get it to work? Well, if I turn, I'm going to show it to you. So if we want, I have disabled all of this. So just pretend that this isn't here. So if we want an image to be black and white, and then we want the red to pop out of the image, how do we get that to work? So this tool that I'm going to use, it's called Curves Hue versus Sat. It allows me to select a color and change its saturation. But because I have diminished like the saturation that we have to 0, basically, we have no more saturation. The image is literally black and white. I cannot increase or decrease the red saturation. And the tool itself is telling me, Giuseppe, we have no color. Now, if we do the opposite, we can still get the red to be saturated, but if we now add, the black and white layer, we have still reduced everything. So how do we go on about it? So what we do is this. We create a black and white node right here. I decrease our saturation. Then I make a parallel node. In this parallel node, don't think that one is stronger than the other just because the black and white node is on top and this is on the bottom. Like, they're like 50-50, so they get mixed up. Don't worry, just put simply, I just want to give you a basic understanding. I have other guides on this channel if you want to go watch the free guides, or if you really want to dive deep and become fucking great at color grading, top link in the description takes you to the online Color Kings Academy. But, just to make you understand, if I now increase the red in this node, which is in parallel, do you see how this node is not getting its signal from this one? We are getting its signal from the nodes which are disabled, but from these nodes, we still have the color signal, right? Since this is getting the signal from the nodes that come before it, we can increase the red. Now, this is not accurate. Like, we're not just increasing like the red right here or right here. We are increasing like the overall. It's very broad, okay, because I'm using it this way. I just want to give you a practical demonstration of what you can do when you use parallel nodes. So a lot of the times, do you see how we could have used the same tool, but it wouldn't have worked the same way? The reason for that is the logic that we put behind our choices and how we build our node trees. That's why I'm the only guy on YouTube you'll see grade with this type of fucking weird node trees. Because if you actually go see how I please go watch it. If you actually go see how I color grade, you'll see I make a lot of teeny tiny decisions. So I'm like, okay, so since I want this to work this way, this needs to go this way, but we're going to have an issue. So you see, it's like I'm playing a game of chess with my clip to understand how to beat it. So again, what have we learned up until now? You need to break down the problem into smaller problems. If you still can't handle that, it's probably a technique problem by then. And most probably your technique problem is the way you handle your image. You're probably trying to do something in the wrong place. That's why you need to understand node trees, because one thing influences the next. What happens to a lot of people is that you ruin your own image and then you try to fix it, but you don't even realize it because your awareness is so low. That's what you're missing. Do you understand why this is so powerful? Why are we talking so much? Why am I talking? Listen, why am I talking so much and why am I grading so little? You would expect from a color grading video that I would start showing you techniques and this is how you apply your glow. This is how you import your clip. No, motherfucker. Because what you're missing is the psychology, it's the strategy. You do not have a mental a working mental model that can allow you to go from A to B without issues. That's your issue. That's your problem. Do you understand why I'm talking so much? What happens though, if you do everything properly and you apply your techniques, you know techniques, you use a good note tree, you use all that I've given to you, but your clip still doesn't look like it should. Well, then we go on to tip 3 and tip 4. Tip 3 is to know your video's purpose. So there's a beautiful lesson. I'm going to watch it with you right now really quick. It's a lesson that I have in the Color Kings Academy. We talk about the 2 types of clips that you will encounter. It's a high-level concept. You need to watch this because nobody has told you yet. There's 2 types of clips, and you'll find this nowhere on the internet because these are all concepts that I came up with myself by, color grading and getting experience and understanding how this world works. You need to understand that you have 2 types of clips that you can work with. Clips that need to be graded congruent to how they were shot and clips that need to be graded to change how they were shot. Most of the time, when you work on bad footage, you try to use grading as a crutch because you work on bad clips and you're like, oh, I'll just get the post-production and I'll change it. What you don't realize is that you're training your brain and your muscle memory. You're training yourself to view color grading as a quick fix, which is wrong. Because you're so used to working with trash footage that you over-apply, over-grade, and get into all sorts of problems. So let's say that we have these 2 shots, and these come from the same projects, of course. You can see that they look very similar because they're from the same setting. Now, if you get used to color grading clips that you always need to change because you work on bad footage, cheap clips, you do not know how to shoot them properly, or if you're working with a client, he did not shoot them properly, and you get used to that, you will start to treat every clip, you will start to overgrade the clip because you will have this mentality that you always need to change every fucking detail about your clip. And this is what I mean by know your video's purpose. You need to know what your video needs to look like, but not just what it needs to look like. You need to know what it needs to say to your viewer. Because when you know what it needs to say to your viewer, you know exactly in what direction to go and you know exactly what not to do. Your problem is that because you don't ask yourself what your video needs to say to your viewer, you make decisions based on what you think will look good in that moment. The problem with this mindset is that good is so subjective that it makes me laugh. I like the color red, which is why I wear a red shirt. Maybe you like the color yellow, which is why you might wear a yellow shirt, whatever. Now, can we agree on which color is the best? We cannot, because no color is better than another, right? So how can we have this discussion? Like, you understand where I'm going. How can we have this discussion when we talk about our shirt's color and not when we talk about color grading? You understand that color, we're artists, right? So the way something looks is so subjective. Like, good to me can mean something different to good to you. So what you need to understand is the concept of making the image look beautiful is fucking trash. I wanted to, throw it in the garbage bin. What you should be doing is understanding, okay, what feelings should the clip evoke in my viewer's mind? Okay, so I should make him, feel sad. Or this clip, needs to be perceived like, my character is blah, blah, blah. Or let's say you're recording an Instagram reel. Well, this needs to stand out. So I'm going to have this type of color palette. And you rationalize your decision. If you want to take notes, what we're doing right now is called color rationalization. There's a ton of different ways to, rationalize colors. I have a guide where I talk about that. It's called Color Grading for People Who Hate Color Grading Tutorials. And I talk about the grading compass, which helps you do exactly what I'm doing right now live in front of you. It helps you get kind of the hang of it. Go watch it real quick if you want to know what emotions a color, brings to your audience and all that good stuff. So what you lack is your video's purpose. You don't even think about your video's purpose. That's the whole problem. I teach people how to think about their video's purpose, but your issue is that you do not even know that you need to do that. And because you do not know that you need to do that, you're chasing the good looking grade, which is subjective. So a grade, I would actually argue that it can look good when it achieves its purpose. And in achieving its purpose, it can actually look quote unquote bad. So tip 3, which is about knowing your video's purpose. This is very helpful, actually. Go watch some of my other videos. I can't talk about it in every video, but this is so important that I need to mention it every time we do a video because people do not know about this stuff. And it is what's holding people back. But you need to know another thing as well. So a lot of students now know about this. I want to protect you from doing another mistake. Do you remember we talked about before, we were talking about this. I need to protect you from a mistake that you're going to make with tip number 4. You need to know your clip's limits. There's going to be a time where you want to create a look and you are not going to be able to do that. Even though it fits your purpose, even though you know how to leverage node trees, even though you know how to do everything, your clip simply cannot handle it. It can be because you lack the detail. Like I can't, turn a sky fucking purple and have it look realistic, right? So I can't replicate a color palette with just, blue in my image. Or I can't, make the skin tone become blue because I want to replicate an underwater lake, right? You understand that. So there's going to be certain limits that you need to respect. The hard thing is in knowing what limits you can break and you can play with and what limits you cannot break because they're literally like hard limits. As you get better, you will be better at breaking limits and going further with what you have. If you are a newbie to color grading, if you're so noob that you don't even know how to open DaVinci, even the slightest inconvenience will throw you off. In this video, I show you the 2 types of clips, right? Clips that you can grade congruent to how they were shot, kind of like this one. Let's have it full screen. Do you see, like this is the original clip. Do you see how it's kind of similar? Like this is obviously better. It looks just fucking gorgeous. But you can see how I got this and I kind of transitioned to this, right? It makes sense. What happens when you have, so this is shot, do you see how this is shot congruent to how it was going to look? Because they knew that this was going to look like this, so they shot it this way with the end result already in mind. This is from a project of mine for a client of mine. What happens when you have, this is a beautiful lesson, bro. Yeah, go check the top link in the description because we talk about a lot of good stuff. What happens when you have this? See? So these are from the same project, but they're way different. Now, for practical reasons, they couldn't shoot this clip like they shot this one. That's when you need a great colorist that can, actually grade both type of clips. So let's get the tips on the whiteboard. Tip 1 was break down your problem because most of the times that's going to help you. Even though you can't solve it completely, that's going to still help you. And it's a good skill to have because most people lack the skill. Tip number 2 would be to leverage node trees. Go watch some of my practical guides on this channel. If you are clueless about node trees, go see how I grade so you can literally pick my brain and understand. Or if you want to dive deep, again, top link in the description. You can literally ask me questions. I review your grades. I help you understand what's wrong with you. And I end your color grading confusion forever. Tip number 3 would be to actually know your video's purpose. And tip number 4 is to know your image's limits. As you get better, your image's limits will be less limiting to you. You're literally going to be able to break them until they're unbreakable because of fucking physics laws or something, right? You understand the point that I'm making. And as you get better, the limits that you have with your images are going to become less and less and less of a limit and more of just something that you need to correct, basically. Tip number 5 is to step back. A lot of the times when you do color grading, you need to realize that your eyes get adjusted to what you're doing. And you counteract that with literally stepping back. You step back, you go out of your room, you look at something else. You can watch a movie, great. Watching a movie is a great way to change perspective because the movie is going to look different from what you're grading. Go outside, take a walk, look at your friend in the face or look at yourself in the mirror. Do whatever you want, man. Just take a step back. Don't touch your computer for at least, I'd say, 30 to 90 minutes at least, and then come back. What you'll realize is that probably your color grading was actively destroying your footage. You don't realize that in the moment because, as I said, not many people know about this, but your eyes get adjusted to what you're doing. Like, have you ever, I'm going to give you a great example to prove my argument. Have you ever gone to the beach on a bright sunny day and you close your eyes? Okay, you're like this, okay? You're relaxing, right? When you close your eyes, what do you see? If there's the sun outside, you probably see orange, right? As soon as you open your eyes after a couple of minutes have passed, now you see everything blue. Has that ever happened to you? It's kind of like automatic white balance because your eyes get adjusted to what you were watching. It doesn't really work like that. It's not that simple. There's biological reasons to why our eyes work like that. But I can tell you from both studying this shit an experience that you need to take breaks when you get used to your image. Now, as you get better, you're going to be better at understanding yourself. You're going to be better at understanding like, okay, am I like losing my sense here? Do I need to take a break? You'll be better at that. But especially when you're a beginner, I want you to take frequent breaks, bro. Because if you don't, you're going to end up like this guy. Why am I even here? Because this poor soul, he wanted to have a great looking image, and he didn't realize that in the process of him, pursuing it, he had a huge tree structure with a lot of things applied to it. And this is exactly what happens when you want to have a great looking image. You think that you need to do so much, and you get so used to the way it looks, and you're never happy with it. And I know this is you, like I'm literally describing you. And when you see his starting point, the image didn't even look bad by itself. So we were in the call, and I was like, bro, you're doing too much. You don't realize that the problem with your image, you don't like the way it looks. And you don't like the way it looks because you ruined it. And people don't realize it. It's like dying in quicksand. It's slow, and you don't realize. But you're slowly sinking. And as you try to free yourself, you keep sinking. And you keep sinking until you can't breathe anymore. And then you need my help. So this is what his clip looked like. This is completely normal. You can work with this. This is fine. This is not a bad clip. But he had to replace the sky and up saturation and do this, do that. And it looks so artificial. Did you see how this looks unnatural, right? Can you understand that this looks fucking unnatural? So this is what I want to protect you from. So tip number 5 is to step back and take breaks, basically. And the reason we do this is because if you don't take... So I want to like come full circle now. If you don't do the things that we talked about, you will encounter this guy, which is Flatline Fred. Now, who is Flatline Fred? Why do I say that you encounter him, and why is it dangerous? Flatline Fred is the voice that we all hear when we try to do some color grading, and the things that we're doing do not work, and they do not, propel us in the direction that we want to go for, and we start to doubt ourselves, and we start to actually, question our techniques. It's the voice of the doubts, basically, and nobody's safe. You don't think that you're safe. Oh, no, never happens to me. No. Happens to you, happens to me, motherfucker. So nobody's safe. We all need to be on our guards, right? So when you encounter Flatline Fred, you're going to notice that what you do, you know that he's speaking to you when your techniques don't work. And your first instinct is not to go back or try something else. No, it's to try the same technique harder. This is Flatline Fred at work. And when he does this, he ruins your footage, just like he did to our poor guy in the other video. So you need to do these 5 things, because if you don't do them, you will get fucked by Flatline Fred. And the outcome, what we call this, is overgrading. So this is what I'm protecting you from. Listen to me. Now, if you apply these 5 things, you will be protected from this, and you will be on your way to becoming a color king. Have you ever realized that this video is very different from the usual videos on color grading? Because usually when people talk about color grading, they show you how to adjust exposure, how to do this, the practical stuff, right? But why are we even talking on a whiteboard? Why are we talking about so many concepts? Because this is what you're missing. Because nobody has ever answered those questions that you had in your mind. And you were kind of like, okay, I need to figure it out on my own. No, these are the questions that we actually need to answer for you to actually improve at color grading. I'm going to tell you a story. I was a videographer. I had 1 year of experience, and I was actively learning color grading to better my videos, right? Because I wanted my videos to look better. So I wanted to do color grading for my own purposes, for my own videos. I was actually falling in love with color grading. I liked the color grading process. So I wanted to also try to become a colorist. And a production company approached me. They approached me with a big project. Now, at that time, I knew some techniques. I was actually a very technical colorist, quote unquote colorist at that time. Because I watched all the tutorials, I had followed a few courses, and people had taught me the usual stuff, okay? So I was very technical, and as soon as I got the footage, I tried to put my hands on it. Do you know what the result was? That footage wasn't like anything I had ever graded up until that point. It looked different. The videos I was used to color grading were my videos, and I shot music videos. And music videos need to look almost always the same, let's be real. That video was a commercial for a big brand. Think Gucci, big brand. I color graded that video in the same way that I color graded my music videos. And that got me fired. As soon as I sent that, trust me, I sent the video, the color graded video, to the producer. He called me and he asked me, is this a joke? Like, did you export the video wrong or a few settings wrong, anything like that? And I was so convinced that I was doing things right that I replied to him, no, this is the video. Like, this is a color graded version. I can tell you that they fired me on the spot. We had a fight on the phone right there. I'm not joking. This happened to me because of a few reasons. Mostly because I did not know about the 5 things that I've given to you today. And I want to make you understand, because you might be at the end of the video. And if you're this far into the video, I think that you might actually become one of my best students, because people usually leave by this time because this shit gets boring after a while, right? But if you're this interested in becoming good, like, I want to give you like the real fucking secret wisdom. Listen, the things that I did wrong that time were, I did not know about a video's purpose. I thought, like, why is this important? Do we want to go deep? Because if you don't know about your video's purpose, you don't know what you're aiming for, and you will color grade clips like in the same manner every time. And this is dangerous because, listen, I'll give you a perfect analogy. If you're a doctor and you have 10 patients with different illnesses, would you try to give them the same cure? No, you wouldn't. So why do people teach you that you can color grade 10 types of different clips in the same way? Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 look good, which usually on YouTube, like, people nitpick their shots. They get a shot that they know is going to look good when they apply that type of color grading and whatever, and it looks good for them. Then you do it and it looks trash. Whoa, voila, why? I wonder why, really. So you need to know your video's purpose, because if you don't know that, you don't know if the technique that you're applying actually works in your favor or not. In my case, what I did, I'll be real fucking specific. I went with a super heavy orange and teal look for a commercial that did not need fucking orange and teal. But I didn't know that. Do you know why I didn't know that? Because I thought that orange and teal looked good. And in fact, it looks pleasing. It's good because the eye likes the color separation and blah, blah, blah. But as I told you in the beginning, motherfucker, realize that the advice I'm giving to you, I paid for that experience with blood, sweat, and tears, man. Looking good is not what we're aiming for. We're aiming for achieving the video's purpose, which is why that's tip 3. Again, go watch some of my other videos. Go watch the videos where I talk about how to understand what your video's purpose is, because you need that. It's literally what's holding you back, because your problem is that you do not know how to make decisions. You second guess yourself. You're like, does this work? Does this doesn't? Well, motherfucker, if you don't know your video's purpose and you don't know how to rationalize colors and to actualize color grading, how are you going to know if it works or not? So if you want to know that real quick, again, top link in the description just solves every doubt you have. Again, break down your problem. Leverage node trees, because that's a huge problem. I have a great guide. It's called like 200 IQ node trees or something. Go watch it. It's on the channel. I talk about node trees and I let you know like the fucking reasoning behind the way I build node trees. It's amazing. Go watch it. Know your image's limits. So I want you to do this. So if there's ever a clip that you do not know how to, how to handle, it's a bit difficult. You've done step 1, 2, and 3, and you still can't, probably handle that. Leave it. Okay. Please do not push it past what you think its limit is. Like, I'm at the point right now, I literally have a client that I'm color correcting some footage for, a couple of interviews. It's like a project, just some basic color correction, but the clips are really bad. They look fucking bad. They're yellow, overexposed, not log. It's Rec 709. He doesn't know what the fuck he's going to do with them. He was like, Giuseppe, please help me, because I'm completely, like, I'm shit. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to do. I sent back the clip to him and he's like, whoa, I don't know how the fuck you did what you did, but please go ahead, grade the whole project. I'm at the point where I can do that. Okay. In fact, matter of fact, I'm going to film myself color correcting those clips. I'm going to upload it to my school so that students can see how I do that. Again, top link in the fucking description, bro. Just solve again, top link in the description takes you to my school where you're going to literally see how I do this as I'm speaking, like as I grade, right? I'm at the point where I can break the image's limits. And I know, because I understand color at such a deep level, that I can leverage everything. You are not at this level yet. So stop having an ego. Stop trying to reach for the movie look and start to reach for something realistic that you can handle. Until you get better and better and better. You follow these videos, you understand grading, because you lack understanding. Again, I told you, you lack understanding. You get better, and then the limits disappear. Step 5 is the most insidious, because you do not even recognize it until it's already too late. The fact is, you need to step back. When you think you're doing good, step back just a little, watch how the clip was before, turn on and off what you were doing, see if it serves your shot or if it doesn't, and then go ahead. And if you stayed this far into the video, I want you to know that you're on the right path to becoming a color king. On this channel, we have a distinction. So color kings and preset pirates. So preset pirates basically are 90% of people that try to do some color grading, and I need to help my students, like my own students. I slap them in the face and I tell them, bro, you're being a preset pirate. Preset pirates are people who copy everybody else. YouTubers do this because you notice that YouTubers do this because they color grade just like everybody else. Have you ever noticed like a new technique comes out, somebody figures out something new, and everybody jumps on the fucking train? Oh yeah, there's new technique. Learn how to do this, that. And like 2 months time, you see everybody following the same type of advice. So most people are preset pirates because they don't have expertise of their own. Like they just copy what they see other people doing. I see other creators doing it every time. You do not want to listen to these guys. These guys will teach you to become exactly like them. Listen, I care for you. Do you realize why we're on the whiteboard and why I'm not teaching you techniques? Because I want you to think for yourself. I don't want you to fucking depend on my channel for 3 years straight before you can color grade something that looks good, remotely good. No, I want you to watch this video, be better than we were before I color grading, solve some of your doubts, and make you a better human being and better at your job. That's my purpose. That's this channel's purpose, and my school's purpose is like the same thing, just enhanced, like fucking 50 times enhanced. This is the reason why we need to explain concepts, because concepts teach you to do what? To think you for yourself. So again, I wanted to congratulate you, because by staying, this much into the video, you're actually starting to understand what real color grading is about. And I said that in the beginning. It's problem solving. Now, how are you going to solve a problem if you do not even know how to think about the problem? If you like the unconventional advice that actually solves the problem, go check out the top link in the description. That takes you to my online Color Kings Academy. You can get it for a discount right now. It's discounted because I still haven't made every course that I want to put in there yet. And I'm filling it up with a lot of value, man. If you stayed this long into the video, I genuinely think that you will get great value from it. People inside are paying to get in, and they're already very happy with the results they're getting, with the value that I teach them, with how active I am inside the community. So really, it's not one of those internet scams. I used to think that things on the internet are always a scam. It is not. It's really a real human being. I'm a real person. I'm Giuseppe. I'm a real person. I don't want to scam anybody. I just want to teach color grading. If I didn't want to teach color grading for real, I wouldn't be doing this on the channel. All right. God bless you.